I went snowboarding, and it's been like not really 3 years, but it's been a while since I snowboarded. I still got it, luckily. Not fully well as I used to, but I can still do it. I can still go down the slopes. I can still do curves. Don't really fall that often, except like I only fell once onto my back because I was looking where my cousin was, because he hasn't snowboarded in a long ass while. So he was like, I was looking where he was, and I was trying to like not go too far ahead, and then like it was like a small bump. So my snowboard hit that bump, and the bump was like big enough for like it to like. So imagine my snowboard was like this, right, and the bump was like that, right. So my snowboard was just like bump, and then just flipped me. Luckily, I had a helmet on. Even though with this hair, helmet is like a massive pain in the ass to wear, because it's usually too tight. It doesn't always work. But yeah, it could have gone really bad, because I could have like hit my head, injured myself, and then yeah. Imagine being terrified of being in the elevated position of a sidewalk. Yeah, like the moment you enter the sidewalk, you would just see. You would just see a cliff next to you. But yeah, I could have hit my head, but luckily I didn't. Because then you know what would have happened? Maybe no. I tried to connect it to the title as much as I did with like the Tears of the Kingdom and Vertigo, but I can't. Unsculling Skull is the next SCP that we're gonna read. So I tried to find a way to connect me snowboarding with that. It just did not. There was no way. There was no way. Another safe one. SCP-1754 is to be contained in an upright position in an airtight acrylic box measuring 40 x 30 x 50 centimeters. Its claws are to be held shut with rubber bands. The floor of the box is to be painted with green pigment. The box is to remain constantly lit. No direct interaction with SCP-1754 is to take place unless properly sealed biohazard suits are worn. Vertebrate subjects are affected by a -1 smoke are to be contained in standard containment for their species, with appropriate containment modification to compensate for the physical alteration. SCP-1754 is an animate, non-sapient assembly composed of smoothed, bleached human bone and other calcified organic materials. The center of SCP-1754 is a human skull, both cranium and mandible consistent in size and something in my eye. Size and development with that of an adult male between the age of 35 and 50. Dentition does not match any available records. SCP-1754 is outfitted with 2 white wheels attached at the temporal styloid processes, the spokes of which are calcified sea stars. SCP-1754 has 2 thin, wiry appendages which are 15 centimeters long and end in crab claws fashioned from bone. These extend from the mental foramen of the mandible. A white clay smoking pipe designated -1 is gripped between SCP-1754's upper and lower teeth. Despite SCP-1754's calcium-rich composition, its clawed appendages are flexible and its wheels rotate freely. SCP-1754 is capable of moving on any solid surface at any angle. It uses its claws to roll itself forward on its wheel in the manner of a wheelchair. SCP-1754 stops rolling if its wheels encounter a green surface. Oh. Wavelength between 510 and 570 nm, whatever that means. No, I don't want to feel like that. Periodically, it will use its claws either to adjust the position of -1 between its teeth or to pinch nearby personnel. Pinch? It effectively resists all attempts to remove -1 from its mouth. What is it, a St. Patrick's SCP now? What? Approximately every 1.5 hours, -1 releases a cohesive cloud of opaque white smoke. If SCP-1754 is alone, the smoke rises to the top of the room, where it then dissipates. If SCP-1754 is in the presence of one or more unprotected vertebrate subjects, the smoke moves to surround the closest one, designated an instant of -2. When the instance of -2 has been fully surrounded, the smoke darkens for roughly 5 seconds before lightening again and dissipating. Following this, -2 has been radically altered to lack a skull. They fucking stole my skull, man. Well, can you imagine? Can you imagine? You talk to somebody, suddenly there's like this smoke surrounding their head, and then it vanished, and the next thing you know, their head's just like smushed. Like eyes. Like everything was just like fall into the neck. Or like limp forward. Like it would just be this flap of like flesh and skin, just like Alternative structures may take the place of the skull. Oh, okay, never mind. Or the organs and tissues of the head may be located elsewhere in the body. Gene sequencing of -2 instances indicate that each instance is no longer a member of its original species, belong instead of to an otherwise unrecognized group entirely diverging from the vertebrate lineage. The effect is still consistent, affecting members of the same species in the same manner. For humans, the eyes remain the same relative position, affixed to independent eye stalks, while the other sensory organs and the brain are located in the neck and chest and are of unfamiliar configuration. Other test species include chimpanzees, golden lion, tamarine, goddess snake, trout, and ring-necked conure. Well, I think it would be more fucked up if it just if your head just become all limp and flappy. Instances of -2 appear healthy and unencumbered by the alteration, to the point where the alteration are normalized from their perspective and unaffected subjects appear similarly alien. Interviews with human instances of -2 suggest that from their perspective no animal species has ever had a skull, and that they had completely lack an understanding of the concept of a skull. Instances of -2 universally expresses revulsion at the sight of SB-1754, more so than for non-anomalous skulls. SB-1754 is not affected by its own smoke. Of course it isn't. Why would it be? SB-1754 is sentient and capable of speech, the sound of which originates from the geometric center of its cranium. The personality expressed through SB-1754 is an enthusiastic middle-aged male living at some point in the middle 1960s. SB-1754 refers to any personnel who interact with it as its next-door neighbor, regardless of the nature, quantity, or behavior of listeners. SB-1754 ceaselessly discusses antique topics. These include classic automobiles, female celebrities of the 1960s, and its son's involvement in the Vietnam War. When it is introduced to an adult male subject who has a wife and children, SB-1754 may present the subject with an offer to join it and its family for an evening meal sometime soon. It is unknown how SB-1754 is able to discern whether a person has a family. Thus far, SB-1754 has made no reference to its anomalous appearance or qualities, nor those of -1. SB-1754 does not seem to remember previously introduced subjects and has not demonstrated the capacity to learn or connect cause and effect. However, when reintroduced to any instance of -2, it refers to it instead as its neighbor from down the street and speaks with a more disappointed tone. SB-1754 has never referred to itself by any name, and extensive interviews have concluded that it is not possible to conduct meaningful discussion with SB-1754. In effect, its dialogue is much like that produced by an artificial intelligence. Okay, here we have an interviewed SB-1754. Interviewer, Dr. Quentin. My head is now hurting. There was like a little bit of a poking pain here. It's the SCP trying to take my skull out. Forward, SB-1754 was enclosed in the case. Dr. Quentin stood beside it. Hey there, neighbor. Hello, SB1754. Gosh, have you seen that new Chewy? Chevy? Chewy. Chevy? What a piece of craftsmanship. And which model Chevrolet would that be, SB1754? Thanks for letting me borrow your mower. You're a great pal. I'll get it back to you soon. SB1754 adjusts its pipe. SB1754, can you hear me? SB1754 attempts to pinch Dr. Quentin, who had begun standing closer. Dr. Quentin jumps back in surprise. Say, you look like a real family man. How about you bring your kids over for dinner? My Bob makes a neat beef stroganoff. That's at the observation window. I'm going to have to decline SB1754. Then we're in like Flynn. Watch out. Here I come, sport. Clacks Claw. Closing statement, SB1754 seems to be holding a one-sided conversation, although such a determination is ambiguous. Yeah, I mean, it could be just messing with you. From all you know. From all you know, it knows what you're saying, but it just decides to like not answer any of your questions. Alright then. We reached the halfway point. And we have been waiting for an hour and 20 minutes. Not bad, not bad. I hope the next ones are a bit shorter because since it's the first SP reading that since I'm back, it would be a bit much if I get like an hour long SP next.